Hello, welcome. Today we will be recreating Joshua Weissman's Levain cookie recipe. Let me tell you, it's so worth it. The very first thing that you're going to do is melt the butter. All the measurements will be down in the description. You can do this in the microwave if you want, but it'll probably end up being super messy and you're better off doing it in the stove, even though it takes a few extra minutes. And once your butter is all melted, you're going to let it hang out on the side while you prepare all of your other ingredients. And it should look something like this. Now, the key to any recipe from scratch is that you need to have high quality chocolate. I don't have that at home, and neither do you probably. So here's a realistic alternative. I just used a bunch of little chocolate sticks I had lying around the house. Now, they're pretty stale, but they do the job. They'll melt in the oven, and they need to be dark chocolate. I can't emphasize that enough. Now, after you've tamed all your chocolate, it's time to break it into little pieces. You can rough cut it with a knife, but my chocolate was kind of hard, and my knife skills aren't all there. So I just placed all the chocolate into a bag, or whatever you want, and make sure it's closed, and then whack it. Yes, very strange, very noisy, but it works. You can use a rolling pin. This only should take a couple minutes. You want to break your chocolate up into pieces, but you still want them to be relatively chunky. And you can place that on the side when you're all done with it. For dry ingredients, the recipe indicates cake flour. And if you have cake flour, go ahead and use it. If you don't, remove 2 tablespoons of your all-purpose flour that you measured out, the same amount as the cake flour, and you're going to want to replace those 2 tablespoons with 2 tables of cornstarch. I found it on the internet. It works great. Then you're just going to plop that into a bowl, and you're just going to whisk it so it's thoroughly mixed. Then add your other all-purpose flour, salt, more cornstarch, baking soda, and whisk that all up. Then in a large bowl, you're going to add your brown sugar and your granulated sugar, and you're just going to whisk that together. After it's thoroughly combined, slowly start adding in your butter. And this is the point in the recipe where I was still trying to half it, so my consistency came out a little strange, which you'll see. And I ended up just making the whole recipe since I ended up adding the full amount of butter. After that, you're going to add your eggs and egg yolks one at a time. I still didn't like the consistency, so I went on with a hand mixer for about 1 to 2 minutes. Then you're going to add your dry ingredients into your wet ingredients, just little by little, so you don't get flour everywhere when you mix it. Just keep on mixing till it's thoroughly combined, where there's no lumps and looks like this. Then you can add your walnuts, which is totally optional. If you have a nut allergy, definitely skip this step. But if you do like walnuts, feel free to add them. And this is where you're going to add your chocolate as well. And you can stir that all together. Now you're going to want to cover your dough in plastic wrap and place it in the fridge for at least 45 minutes. This way your dough is easier to work with and so the cookies get tall. And we want these cookies to be big, so putting them in the fridge is a really important step. Afterwards, you take them out of the fridge and you're going to weigh out 6-ounce balls. Yes, 6-ounce balls. And I placed 3 on a tray because my trays were pretty small, and you're going to put them back in the fridge for 25 minutes before you bake them. And while some of your cookies are in the fridge, you can go ahead and scoop out the rest. 15 minutes before baking, you're going to preheat your oven to 425 degrees, and you're going to put them in the oven for 10 to 13 minutes. 12 worked best for me. Now for the grand reveal. I highly recommend this recipe, and this would not be a Joshua Weissman recreation video without a little bit of B-roll.